JGTC 2004 series. JGTC is the world's #1 touring car race. These production GT cars are tuned to the absolute limit for maximum performance. Everything from tires, cockpit, engine, and chassis are specially made for racing. The aerodynamic bodywork is designed using aircraft technology. These are the fastest GT cars in the world, and their battle to be #1 is a fight to the finish. GT500 class machines with 500 horsepower and GT300 machines with 300 horsepower battle it out at the same time, making the JGTC race action very dramatic. Thousands of horsepower shakes the ground as more than 40 powerful machines prepare for the dramatic rolling start. Each car is driven by 2 drivers. Seconds won or lost in pit work can make the difference between victory and defeat. To keep racing close, the cars are handicapped by weight, depending on previous results. The race is a non-stop battle from start to finish. In the 8 races of 2003, first place changed in the last lap in 3 different races. And in one race, first place changed in the last corner of the last lap. Until the checkered flag drops, you can never tell who's going to win. That's what makes JGTC racing so exciting.
marks the 10th anniversary of the JGTC, and it's only fitting that we plan to celebrate in a big way, in a world-class way. We've taken Japan by storm, and now we're ready to take the world by storm. JGTC, making a new start to a new stage.
April 4th, 2004, the first round of the Japanese Grand Touring Championship season was about to begin. The ever-evolving JGTC series instituted some major changes this season, beginning with the retirement of the legendary Nissan Skyline GTR. In its place as a GT500 contender came the Z, equipped with the same 3-liter V6 twin-turbo engine as its predecessor. The Honda NSX and Toyota Supra also brought new engine packages, the NSX now sporting a turbo under the hood. The race is about to begin with a rolling start, one of the JGTC's exciting trademarks. Although cars line up on the starting grid according to best lap times and qualifying, the newly paved track is still wet from rain, and tire choice is key for each team in the 2004 opener. The safety car goes in, and there they go! The season opener in front of 58,000 fans is underway. Out of the 4 Zs competing in the GT500 class, the only Z wearing intermediate tires took the lead. The pole-sitting Motul Pitwork Z had chosen slicks. Zanavi is in the lead, but the AU Supra is coming on strong from the back. Whoa, that's close! The AU Supra jumps to the inside and takes the lead. New driver Sigiara and the AU Supra wearing rain tires are now in first place. Indeed, all the cars wearing dry slicks are getting left behind. It should be interesting to see the Z's performance using the same VQ30 DETT engine as the GTR, which ran the 2003 season. Here comes Denso up to third place. The Motul Pitwork Z drops to last place all the way from pole position. Maybe running on slicks wasn't such a good idea after all. Let's look at the GT300 class. The M-Tech NSX takes the lead. M-Tech is the team formerly known as Mugen. The Wed Celica finished very strong last year. Now with Nobu Taniguchi behind the wheel, it follows right behind. In third is the Ferrari, and in fourth is the ARTA Garaya with a new V6 engine. The 300 class is very interesting with its many contenders. Just look at the variety of cars here in first through fourth place. Honda, Toyota, Ferrari, and the ASL Garaya. The Ferrari passes Taniguchi to take second place. The ARTA NSX struggles with traction and comes in for a change to rain tires. The Ferrari overtakes the M-Tech NSX for an early lead in the race. The NSX could be having some problems. It suddenly dropped to fourth place. The GT300 class may be down on power compared to the 500 horsepower class, but it's hardly boring with position changes like this. M-Tech has really fallen behind, down to about 7th place now. Looks like something is really wrong with the machine. Here's the AU Sermo Supra and the Denso Sard Supra going at it tail to nose. The GT500 cars are already lapping the 300 class cars. This is where the race gets more interesting. Not only do the 500 cars have to battle it out with each other, they often have to work around the slower GT300 cars to get ahead. On the other hand, the GT300 cars have to compete against their own class, while the more powerful 500 cars zip around them. Ara and the AU Sermo Supra just can't seem to get by the slower backmarker cars. You can see some parts of the track drying up now. This is when the track becomes most difficult due to the difference in surface conditions. The cars with slicks need to be patient for another 5 to 7 laps until the track dries up. Then they'll have the advantage. The AU Sermo Supra still keeps the lead with the Denso Supra close behind. And here comes the two Supras racing to take the lead at the first corner. Here comes Dufour from the inside. The Frenchman hits Ara's Supra and takes the lead. These two were teammates last year, but that doesn't stop either one from battling hard. Dufour passes Ara on the 10th lap, but gets stuck behind back markers and can't extend his lead. The Zanavi Nismo crew looks on to see how the new Z is doing. Both the Zanavi Nismo Z and the Calsonic Z have been penalized and forced to do a pit drive-through. The pit crew is penalized for not leaving the car before 3 minutes to start. The crew is deciding on which tires to choose at the last minute, and it cost them. That's gotta be tough for the drivers, but the JGTC is a team sport. The Takata Dome NSX comes into pit after 16 laps to change from rain tires to slicks. There's hardly any grooves left on the rain tires. Seeing that the track has largely dried, many drivers also pit for a tire change. Denso comes in now on lap 19 to switch to dry slicks. How fast can Dufour get back in the race? Esso Ultraflow Supra with Juichi Wakasaka also arrives to change tires. After changing to slicks, the Supra gets back on the track in a hurry. Motoyama in the Zanavi Z, who was very impressed with the way the new Z car was handling, changes to slicks but doesn't refuel. Rockets out in 25 seconds. GT300 Endless Daishin Z. The NSX blocking the Denso Supra going into the corner, but the Supra, wearing slicks, breezes by the NSX still wearing rain tires. "26 laps down, the NSX still needs to complete 2 more laps before they can change both the tires and the driver. The Ferrari takes the lead, and the Garaya passes the Z. Masami Kageyama in the Motul Pitwork Z comes in to hand over the wheel to German driver Michael Kroom. Kroom won the championship last season with Motoyama in the Nismo Zanavi GTR. The Supras have dominated the race up to this point, but will the newcomer Zs be able to show that Nissan is still competitive? Oh, the Motul Z spins out of control on the corner as it contacts a Denso Supra. Good thing it was able to get back in the race without assistance, but it still can't avoid a loss of valuable time. The GT300 first place Ferrari comes into pit. The Ferrari design requires additional time to refuel while drivers change from Tanaka to Yogo. The Calsonic Z comes in to change drivers from E-Day to Trade-Uye. The crew quickly slaps on new tires and off it goes. The Garaya comes into pit. The Denso Supra also in. Whoa, the AU Supra catches fire, but no problem for the pit crew as they calmly extinguish it and driver Tachikawa takes off as if nothing happened. Denso is ready to go back out with the driver change from Dufour to Andre Koot from Portugal. It takes him 42 seconds. We're looking on from the Esso Supra. Motoyama in the Zanavi Z comes in for a driver change. This time, his new partner for the season, Irishman Richard Lyon. Lyon drove one of Nismo's GTRs last season. The pit crew working hard to get Lion out as soon as possible, and the Z is back out in 31 seconds, very fast. Refueling earlier was a good call. Fresh out of the car, Satoshi Motoyama watches the monitor. Before the race, he was happy that both Nismo Zs, the number 1 and number 22 cars, had finished well in qualifying. Wakasaka in the Esso Supra comes in, changes to driver Akira Ida. The Denso Sard Supra, can it catch up and pass the Esso Supra while it's in the pits? The car is refueled and all the tires changed in 38.8 seconds. Here comes the Denso Supra on the final straight, and it takes the lead before the Essa Supra can get out. The Essa Supra's tires are still cold, and it can't keep up. The Xana VZ went by the home straight following behind the Esso Supra. It has a chance to catch up. There's a black flag with a yellow circle out for the Wood 1 Tom Supra. The car has mechanical problems and must leave the circuit immediately. Richard Lyon at the wheel here. If the Z had been on rain tires at the beginning, it may have been more competitive. The track didn't dry as soon as they expected, and they had to endure with slicks on a wet track. The pole-sitting Motul Pitwork Z lost its position entirely. The tire strategy worked out great for the Supras as they started the race with rain tires and needed only one change later in the race. Now with the same tires, the Z is ready to catch the Supra and make something happen. Considering this is the debut race for the Zs, they're doing very well. In car with Richard Lyon. First driver Motoyama did a good job handing the car over to Lyon in good position despite the time penalty earlier in the race. The GT500 looks like a dead heat between the first place number 39 Supra and the number 1 Z. At the top of the 300 class is Atsushi Yogo in the Ferrari 360. A distant second is the ARTA Garaya. The Garaya is more than 10 seconds back. You never know what can happen in the JGTC, but the Ferrari has a considerable advantage. Oh, and a penalty called on the number 39 Denso Supra. What bad timing when you're leading the race. Going into the pits for a drive-through, the penalty is for overtaking with the yellow flag out. Coot must be furious now, losing the top position due to a penalty. A shock to the Denso team. The Xana VZ, meanwhile, takes the lead. Here, the Denso Supra must stop at the exit for 10 seconds. It's actually longer than 10 seconds because of the time it takes to come into the pits and drive out again. The third place Yellow Hat Supra was coming down the final straights but just managed to get in front. What a shocking turn of events for the Denso squad. Motoyama looks on with a big smile. He should be very happy as the new Z may finish its debut race with a victory. You never know until the fat lady sings, but the Xanavi Z is the new leader in the JGTC 2004 season opener. Can he fend off the Supra coming from behind to finish first? Into the final lap, and the leader is still car number 1, the Xanavi Z with Richard Lyon behind the wheel. A debut win by the Nismo Fair Lady Z is close. No sign of any challengers coming up from behind to threaten a first-place finish. The 81st lap is almost in the bag. Nissan's new car for the GT500 class, the Xanavi Fair Lady Z, is about to take its first victory in its first race. The checkered flag is close. The Xanavi Z started out with slicks, then had to change to rain tires. It even took a penalty drive-through. Motoyama comes out to see his teammate take the checkered flag. Arriving at the final corner, and here's the checkered flag. Richard Lyon waves his hand and brings home the first JGTC win for the new Z. New partners Lyon and Motoyama successfully bring a debut win for the Xanavi Nismo team. Who could have imagined this at the beginning when the Zs were left behind because of tire choice? With its fast lap times in qualifying, we knew the Z had potential, but with the initial tire choice and penalty, certainly no one expected a victory. Now to the GT300 class. The Ferrari is still in front. Can it keep the lead? Now blasting out of the last corner is Yogo in the Italian machine. And there it is, a checkered flag for Ferrari. A first place finish for the Jim Gaynor Ferrari 360. This was a long-awaited win for Ferrari, coming up from 6th place. These two have a possibility of becoming a golden combination. May 22nd, 2004, Saturday qualifying sessions for round 2 of the 2004 Autobox JGTC series were held at Sugo, a circuit in Miyagi Prefecture. The Supras did very well, with Juichi Wakisaka piloting the number 6 car to the fastest time, 1 minute 19.259 seconds. Kachikawa in the AU Sermo Supra came in a close second with 1 minute 19.323 seconds. Dominic Schwager came in third with the Eclipse Advan Supra. It looked as if the day might be ruled by Toyota. The fastest Nissan was a number 22 car driven by Kroom and placing 4th on the start grid. Number 1 Xanavi Nismo Z is slowing down. The Xanavi Z has slowed, although we can't tell why. Richard Lyon looking onto the monitor from the pits, wondering what has happened. The pace car goes in, signaling the start of the race, but the Z is slowed. Always a drama at Sugo. Let's see what kind of race awaits us today. The start! The SO Ultraflow Supra with a great jump. On board from car number 25, Manabu Orido trailing closely. In car number 36, the Wood One Tom Supra, is Takeshi Tsuchiya. The Advent Supra takes the lead. Oh, the VMAC RD320 RT Mach eats some of that Sugo gravel. What a first lap! Orido takes the lead in the Advent Supra with its soft compound Yokohama tires. Nobody imagined Orido would overtake Ida so easily on the opening lap. Motoyama and the Xanavi Z, winners of the first round, could not make the start. Look at Orido move! The soft tires warmed up very quickly, allowing him to make quick time from second place. Following behind is the SO Ultraflow Supra, the Motu Pitwork Z, and the AU Siermo Supra. The AU Siermo Supra falls from second to fourth. Let's check out the GT300 class. Leading is the Amemiya Mazda RX-7. Nob Taniguchi in the WED Sports Celica is in second, just ahead of the M-Tech NSX. Back to GT500, Orido is just booking with no one in front of him. Ida in the SO Supra is a distant second, with Masami Kageyama and the Motu Pitwork Z in third. The Xanavi car is out of the picture with transmission problems. Looks like Nismo's other car, the Motu Pitwork Z, will need to shoulder the burden for Nissan today. The number 12 Calsonic Impulse Z moving up. The M-Tech NSX shoves the RX-7 aside to take the inside line. There's a new leader in the GT300 class. Now the VMAC is going for it. There it goes, taking the inside. The RX-7 riding on Yokohama slicks drops 2 positions to third place. Orido in the Eclipse Advan Supra with the super soft compound tires is driving hard at a pace about 2 seconds faster than the pack. He holds the lead but gets caught in some traffic behind the GT300 Garaya. Here comes Akira Ida from right behind. Ida in the number 6 Esso Supra, trailing Orito in the Advanced Supra. Here's a braking battle. Ida sneaks up from behind and overtakes Orito from the inside. On the straightaway, Orito can't brake as sharply as the Esso. Sejiara in the AU Sirmo Supra and Masami Kageyama in the Mol2 Pitwork Z. Ara in the Supra waits for his chance to gain position. Who's ready to catch up to Ida Supra? Well, looks like AU and Mol2, since they're all wearing the same Bridgestone slicks. But catching Ida from behind won't be easy. Here's the Advanced Supra in second, Mol2 Pitwork Z behind from 4th to 6th. It's all Supra, AU Sirmo, Wood 1 Toms, and Denso Sard. With both GT300 and 500 classes running together, you never know when the leader will get stuck in traffic allowing an opportunity to pass. This is part of what makes JGTC so exciting to watch. The battle for second looks like it may end abruptly right here. Ida in the Esso Supra maintains the lead, running alone up front. He's already made up considerable ground between the second place followers. On board Takeshi Tsushiya's car, Sejiara in the Supra passes the Z in front. Takeshi follows and passes the Z too. Let's see the replay. The AU Supra passes the Z in the corner. The Wood 1 Supra and even the Denso Sard Supra also manage a pass on the Mol2 Pitwork Z. One little slip and Kageyama have let 3 Supras by in one shot. Here comes Ara in the AU Sirmo Supra, retaking second place. On board again with Tsuchiya. There's an incident. The Denso Sard Supra goes out. What a crash right on the front. Looks like some damage. Denso Supra may have some damage. What a crash involving 3 cars. There goes Ide sliding around Orito from in back. Orito's tires are giving out. And here comes the rain. All the tire engineers from Bridgestone, Yokohama, and Dunlop scramble around to see which tires should go on during the next round of pit stops. The AU Supra comes out ahead after the first stop. Looks like a battle of the Supras, but the tires aren't warm just yet. Here comes the Esso Supra from behind. Tashikawa and the AU Supra can't go any faster. His tires aren't up to temperature yet. A perfect tail-to-nose showdown between two Supras. The Esso Supra with Wakisaka right behind the AU Supra. Tashikawa isn't about to let Wakisaka pass so easily. Looks like another battle developing right here. Final corner into the straightaway. Where will Wakisaka make his move? They're side by side, right next to each other, nearly slamming into each other. What a gutsy move from Wakisaka. From the Esso in-car cam, struggling to get past a Porsche GT500 backmarker. Whoa, more contact! Wakisaka bumps the Porsche and allows the AU Supra to retake the lead. The Esso Supra completely loses acceleration. You can see some damage on the rear fender, maybe even the tires. Comes almost to a standstill. What a shame. Likely it's a punctured tire. In the meantime, Tashikawa and the AU Supra takes off out of sight, leaving Wakisaka in the dust. The Esso Supra barely makes it back to the pits to change tires and do whatever first aid possible. Can the Esso Supra get back in the game? Everything is done except for a tire change. The rain is falling harder at this point. This could be a huge factor in the latter half of this race. The Wood One Supra and the others come in to change tires. Still running without rain tires is the AU Supra. Rain continues, but not as strong as before. The top cars, including the Advan Supra, are wearing slicks. Having slicks at this stage still proves an advantage, as evidenced by the lap times. What's happening here now? The AU Supra is really slowing down. The track is getting too slippery now for slicks. Tashikawa comes into pit. The AU Supra finally pits to change tires. The Advent Supra, following 35 seconds behind, hasn't yet changed tires either. It'll be interesting to see if the pit work here makes any difference. The AU team rushes to change tires and get back in the race before the Advent Supra can take the lead. Whoa, what's this? The MTech NSX has hit the guardrail. The AU Supra team takes 22.8 seconds to change the rain tires and is getting the car ready for its re-entry into the race, although it'll still take a lap or two before the driver can really step on the gas. The Advent Supra doesn't come into pit and stays out with slicks. What will the Eclipse Advent Supra do now? Arito looks on at teammate Schwager. Can the Advent Supra come back on top with the Yokohama slicks? It's all about weather and wise tire choice now. Rain continues to fall in Sugo, although we can see the sun start to shine a bit. The AU Supra now with rain tires and the Advent Supra with Yokohama slicks. The AU Supra is just behind now, coming on strong despite some more rain. The Eclipse Advent Supra just makes the first corner while the AU Supra, dodging some of the GT500 backmarkers, stays on his tail. Tashikawa hangs on just behind Dominic Schwager. He's about to overtake any minute now and is completely locked onto the Advent Supra's tail. The AU Supra makes its move. This is a tough situation for the Advent car. Even though the Yokohama soft compounds are known to be good in the wet, they are still slicks. Schwager can't do anything about this. The AU Supra is on rain tires. The Eclipse Advent team took a gamble with slicks, hoping the rain would ease up and the Yokohamas would hold. Running in second place, they went for the win by gambling with tire choice. AU Sierra Supra on its last lap. From the third corner to the hairpin, it's been a battle of the Supras all day. AU Sierra leading this one. Whoa, watch out! The NSX lost control right in front of the AU Supra. It's like driving on ice out there right now. That was close. That could have been the end of the race for the AU Supra had it got caught up in that mess. The AU Supra got out of the way by just an inch. Luck is still on the Supra's side. Tashikawa was very calm out there. Unbelievable things happen during a race. You never know until the checkered comes out. rain continues to fall hard, the AU Supra only has a few more corners to turn to close the deal. Tashikawa takes the in-course on the last corner. It's 99% his victory now. The AU Supra takes the checkered flag. The Supra sweeps second round of JGTC. What a dramatic win for AU Siermo Supra. Finally, it's able to cap a win at Sugo. There's Ara celebrating with his teammates. For the GT300 win, it's Nob Taniguchi and the Wed Celica. This is a well-deserved win for Team Bando. The AU Supra takes round 2 at Sugo. What an exciting race! Tashikawa having to pit and switch terrain tires with Schwager still in the lead. With only 3 laps to go, Tashikawa made his move, grabbed the lead, and led until the end. The Eclipse Advent Supra finishes second, and the number 37 Wood 1 Tom Supra with Courtney behind the wheel comes in third overall. As anticipated after qualifying, this race was all Supra. Toyota dominates the podium, first to third.
きっかけはね、同じ GT 選手権に出てる道上亮がカート乗ってて、かっこよかったんで、俺もやってみよう。そのぐらいです。17でバイクの免許取って 400cc の単車でね、峠行ってね、結構奈良ではちょっと有名でした。
事故ったりもしたんですか？
ゼロです。単車こかしたことないです。
車は？
車はポカでこうよそ見してて前の車に渋滞でぶつかったりはよくあります。
アメ車って乗ったことありますか？
ありますよ。最近ラグジュアリーな車好きなんで、ハマーとかリンカーンとか、あとダッチ、あの辺のねこうボコンとしたやつにでかいホイールつけてね、メッキしてたまに乗ってます。
どうですか？
いや最高でしょ。やっぱ海行くのも何行くのも注目度ナンバーワンですしね、最近そっちの方にはまってます。ガソリン食いますけど。アメリカのレースなんかね行きたいと思うし、ただねアメリカのレースとなればナスカーとか IRL でしょ、あれ当たったら痛そうでしょ。もうちょっと違うなんかロードコースあったらアメリカも行ってもいいんですけど、ちょっとコンクリートだけはちょっと勘弁していただきたい。
外人のタレントで一番好きな人ってのはあるんですけど、
なんかねハリウッドの綺麗なお姉さん好きです。はい、誰とは分かんないですけど、ぜひお会いできれば嬉しいんですけど。
レーサーの仲間で仲のいい友達っていうのは、
うちの弟仲いいですし、あともちろんもう最高の相棒飯田明、あとやっぱり尊敬してるのは服部直樹、本山聡、そのぐらいですかね。あとね300の松田選手っていうのも仲いいかもしれない。
逆に嫌いな人います？
嫌いなのはね、なんか行儀悪い外人とかね行儀悪い外人とかね、もちろんヨーロッパ系ね、アメリカの人は好きやけど、ヨーロッパ系の外人がね、あんまり好きじゃないね。
向こうはオーバルとロードとのミックスになりますけど、
はい、
どんなレースになって予想しますか？
初めてのコースですしね、車に乗り慣れてる連中が速い、そういった意味では各メーカー開発ドライバーが速いんじゃないですかね。あと僕なんかはロードコース攻めてオーバルの部分はちょっとアクセル緩めながら走らないと当たったら痛いんで怖がりなんで、なんとか。でも優勝したら多分ね、みんな拍手してくれるやろうし、湧いてくれるやろうし、その場にいたいですね、アメリカでは。
では最後にこちらのカメラにアメリカのファンにメッセージをお願いします。
頑張ります。応援してください。俺だけ応援してください。よろしくお願いします。
したタイプですか？
僕は逆にしなかったですね。どっちかというとカートをずっとやってたんで、あんまりそういう経験ないですね。峠というかバイクで原付でちょっとこう遊びに行った程度です。車で峠走るとかあんまりなかったし。
マイカーは今何？
今オデッセイを乗ってます。それとまあ遊びでっていうわけじゃないですけど、BM の Z4 をちょっとプライベートで乗ってたりしてるんですけど、ほとんどオデッセイですね。っていうのは趣味のラジコンを積むためのトランスポーター代わりに走ってます。
アメ車の印象ってどうですか？
なんかでかいしすごいパワーがあるなっていう、なんかドドドドドドドっていくイメージがあるんですけど、あまり外車乗ったイメージはなくて、ラジコンのボディはダッチストラトスのボディつけてますけどねそこがアメリカぐらいですね
アメリカのレースの
はい
いろいろあるじゃないですか。
はいはい、
それの印象っていうか、
いや
好きなの？
すごいやっぱりカートだったり IRL だったりはいまだにやっぱりすごい興味があって、やっぱり行きたいカテゴリーの一つですね。はい、今もだからそういう意味ではまだまだ僕もいけるかなと思ってそういう働きはかけてるんですけども、なかなかやっぱりすぐ簡単にはいける世界ではないとは思うんですけど、ものすごくオーバルには興味あります。はい、
ドリフトってでも興味あります？
興味ありますね。でも僕一回なんか歩行外かなんかでいろいろお客さんの車でやったんですけど、くるくるくるくるスピンしてどうしても体が滑らせるっていう意識がないんですよね。自然にこうグリップさせて前に進めていくっていうずっとやっぱり昔カートからそういう状況でやってきたんで、滑らせると遅いっていうイメージがあったんですけど、だけどやっぱりこうちょっとしたウェットだったりセミウェットだったり難しいコンディションの時にやっぱりそういうドリフトっていうのはある意味役立つかなっていうふうには思うんで、だからね折戸さんとか谷口さんとか GT カー乗ってグリップ走行できて滑らせろって言ったら簡単に滑らせるし、そういう意味では羨ましいなと思って思うんですけど、
なるほど。
はい、ホンダ NSX に乗る、道上亮です。今回初の、アメリカでの、GT 選手権ということで、オールスターなんですけども、今アメリカではすごい日本車が、すごいブームっていうことも聞いてますんで、なんだかこの今世界一速い、箱車のレースの魅力を、皆さんに思う存分見せて、いいレースをしたいと思いますので、応援よろしくお願いします。ぜひ見に来てください。
周りっていうかほとんどなかったですね。特にやっぱり日本だと、ね、そういう走る場所も少ないですし、そういう、その子供の頃からやっぱり、ね、そのカートとかでレースしてるんで、そういう走りに対するそのストレスみたいなものはなかったですよね。
なんかその頃の思い出ってあります？
その頃はね、もちろんそのプロのレーサーを目指してたわけじゃなかったし、とにかく、ね、そのエンジンのついた乗り物をやっぱり操るっていうのね、もうそれが好きでしょうがなくて、自分で整備するのも好きだったしね。
乗ってるマイカーって今何？
今は Z のオープンカーに乗ってます。
それは何ですか？
もうスタイリングがかっこいいから、
何かチューニングとかしてます？
ニスモのエアロパーツとホイールとマフラー
おすすめですね。
おすすめ、かっこいい、すごい。
藤山さんも今見に行ったでしょ？
見に行った。はい。
どうですか？
いや、すごく好きだし、ね、自分もしてみたいなと思ってね、それもあって、Z のマニュアルにしてるんです。こっそり練習しようかなとも思ってるんですけど、
まだ実現はしてないです。
まだ。たまに見てね、面白いなと思ったら、ショートオーバルのナスカで車の台数がすごく多いし、なんか見ててすごく面白い。
興味あります？興味ある？自分でやってみたい？
興味はてか見てて面白いけど別に参加したくはないですねなんか難しそう、なんかわけが分かんないし見るのは好き。カーナンバー1番ダナビ西本チーム、本山聡です。 アメリカには、初めて行きますけど、すごく、張り切っていって勝ちたいと思います。皆さん応援よろしくお願いします。
I think this is not the question of if the American fans want to see JGTC. I think it's great racing, and the American crowd, and the fans, they love great racing. I know that. And look at the NASCAR or the kart or anything spectacular. It's exciting. The American fans really like. So I think the JGTC has exciting races every time and lots of overtaking. We have lots of action all the time. You never know what's going to happen, and I think it will be appreciated by the fans, and I think we can put on a great show.
How do you think, personally, JGTC is different compared to other touring car races?
Well, the cars, first of all, I think they look fantastic. They're really big with big spoilers and wings on it, and we have lots of downforce, lots of power, and most of all we have really big tires, and that's, I think, the biggest difference if you compare that to other categories. So if you have a DTM car or a touring car, it has very small tires comparable. That means we are very quick in the corners, and that makes the car very, very challenging to drive. So we have very short braking areas, and the cars are doing nearly the same lap times as like a Formula 3000 car. So it's very, very fast, so that's what makes it really exciting.
How do you like the Z? It's your new car this year. How's it handling?
Yeah, of course I missed the Skyline GTR a little bit because I love that car, of course. But the Z car is really, really good, and we proved the potential by winning already two races this year. And I hope we can add another win there, especially if we go to America. We try to win there because everybody is on zero weight, so we don't have any ballast weight like we have in the championship here. So.
What do you think of it?
I think it's great. I mean, I love to do it. It's just that if I do it, it's not very fast in the racing car. So yeah, sometimes if I have the opportunity to do it on the circuit, if I take some friends around in a road car, I try to drift every time. Unfortunately, I'm not that good at it, so sometimes I just go like this way and suddenly I go the other way. So, but it's very good practice for us also, for the balance, and I think it's great to watch. I love it.
Really entertaining.
Yeah, it's fantastic. These guys are really good.
What do you think of American cars in general? Racing cars?
Well, I don't really have much experience with American cars. Yeah, only rental cars. So I drove the in karts, 2001 2 races in Long Beach one, and in Mexico. Yeah, it was great fun to race there.
Lastly, message to your US audience?
Well, I hope many of you guys come out there to see really great action. We have lots of overtaking, lots of crashes, hopefully not bad ones, and lots of tire smoke flying around and bits and pieces. So please come and enjoy.
ちょうどね、僕がドリフトを始めた頃はそういう大会とかが流行り始めた頃で、それで一番最初に初代日本一チャンピオンっていうのになって、それがきっかけでレースの会社に入ってレーサーの修行をしながらこっちの世界に入ってきたみたいな感じなんだけどね、本当ドリフトがきっかけですね。
ドリフトは今でもしますか？
いや、趣味みたいなもんだからやってますよ、いつも。
それでどの車で？
自分の車だったりとかいろいろ人の車だったりとか。
ちなみに今ご自分の車は何なんですか？
自分のスープラ持ってる。600馬力。かっこいいよ。
改造も
もちろんもちろん。チューニングカー好きだから。
バイクも乗るんですか？
バイクも乗ってますよ。忍者川崎 GPZ900。それも改造してる。
ちなみに事故ったことってありますか？車でもバイクでも。
いやそんな事故なんて数え上げたらキリがないよいっぱいあるよいっぱい。
アメ車についてはどう思いますか？
いや一時ね僕ねナスカを本気で目指してて、アメリカでナスカのレースも出たことあるし、アーウィンデルで実際ナスカのレース出たことあるし、アメ車は非常に興味があるね。やっぱでかいエンジンの音がいいね。迫力と無駄にでかいところがいい。
それに代わって GT はやっぱりこの辺がお子さん的には
まあ全然違う種類の車だからね。本当もう日本の GT っていうのは多分箱車の中ではもう世界中の中でもトップクラスの車じゃないかな。すごいシビアな車だし、それに比べてアメ車はやっぱこうねちょっと GT とは違うイメージかな。
じゃあ最後になんですけど、アメリカのファンに一言お願いします。
いやとにかく日本車で、向こうでレースできるっていうのは、ね、結構楽しみなんで、まあ、ドリフトも含めてね、GT の方も盛り上がってほしいですね。応援よろしくお願いします。アドバンです。エクリプスです
きっかけ、中学校の時の友達がたまたま F1 好きで、三重県に住んでたんで、鈴鹿サーキット近いから一緒に見に行こうぜで、鈴鹿の1000キロのレースを見に行ったのが初めてで、見た瞬間俺も乗りたいと思ったのがきっかけ。
それからまあ FJ とかって見られるんですよね。
ちょうどその時が中学生だったんですけど、高校生になったらバイトができたんで、それでお金貯めてゴーカートを始めたんですよ。で18になってもう免許も取ったし、そろそろ四輪の世界に行きたいなと思ってたから、それで19歳の時に SRSF に入校したんですよ。
あれ1期生
1期生です。外人のタレントっていうかどうだろう、映画スター、まあ好きなっていうか、こうトム・クルーズとかいつもかっこいいなと女の子はどうだろう、昨日たまたまスマスマでキャメロン・ディアスが出てて可愛いなと思ってレース
やってる中で仲のいい友達姉さん誰ですか？
まあやっぱり近くでいうとホンダ系で道上選手とか加藤選手とかその辺が仲いいですけど、まあ、一緒にラジコンやって遊んだりとかもしますし、はい、僕が伊藤大輔です。アメリカに行った際には、レースで暴れまくろうと思ってますので、ぜひ ARTA-NSX のこの伊藤大輔を応援してください。よろしく。
事故はありましたね。それはまあやっぱり、少ない方だと思うんですけど、まあでも事故はありますね。
一番自分でやったかったなっていうのはどう？
対向車が来て、もうその頃もうコーナーのはるかで 50m 手前ぐらいからパッキーンと横向けてこう行ってたら、対向車がパッと出てきて、でもうそのまま横向いたままドカーンとぶつかったことがあって、廃車になっちゃいましたけど、それはやばかったですね。
人間は大丈夫だった？
人間は大丈夫でしたね。はい。
レース界で仲のいい友達レーサーは誰ですか？
僕はあんまりいないんですけどまあでもオリド選手はすごく近所ですし、すごい兄貴分的な存在で仲良くしてもらってます。
それだけ？
あとは誰がいいの知らないけどいないですね、あんまり。
アメリカのなんかこう魅力っていうかさ、どう？
やっぱり日本人と気質が違うじゃないですか。ものすごい盛り上がるんですよね、素直に。いいものは良くていいっつってうわーってこうすごい声援上がるし、ダメならダメでもう反応がすごく出るんですけど、日本人はその辺ちょっとおしとやかというかおとなしくて、あんまりそういう表現が少ないじゃないですか。だからその分ね、アメリカでやるとものすごい燃えます。やってる側が楽しい。 だからまあドリフトもアメリカでやるの楽しいんですけど GT でもう行ってみたいですね。どんな反応するのか。
知らなきゃ知らないってはっきり言った。
ブリトニー
アメ車、
アメ車、
アメ車の印象を教えて。
アメ車でねドリフトしてみたい。アメリカの方行ってドリフトやりたいんですけど、すごく日本車を持って行ってみると、まあ、日本車の良さももちろんあるんですけど、やっぱりねビッグサイズのアメリカ車はねアメリカでやるにはすごく合ってると思うんですよ。この間山田さんがバイパーでドリフトやってたんですけど、すげえかっこよかったんですよね。だからそういうアメリカでドリフトするんだったらそのでかい車でやった方がかっこいいんじゃないかなと思いますけどね。
例えば好きな車乗りたい車ある？
今ドリフトに関してはまだ何で使っていいか分かんないんですけど、サバーバンとかあれアメ車？サバーバン欲しい。日本でかっこいいですよね。
カリフォルニア、ロサンゼルスに行ったらどっか遊びに行きたいとかありますか？
トーランス。
トーランスってどこだよ？
日本人街があるんですよ。なんか日本人がいっぱい違ういっぱいキャバクラがあってね、日本人がいっぱいいるんですよね。これ英語喋れないからそういうとこ行くと楽しいですね。日本人がいっぱいいて
声がちっちゃくなってる。
Here we'll take a look at the machines of the JGTC. All cars are based on actual production models, although the modifications that go into these cars are nothing like you've ever seen. This is the GT500 class Garaya. The biggest difference between the GT300 and 500 class cars is the horsepower. GT300 cars have air intake restrictors installed that prevent them from making any more than 300 horsepower. Many manufactured sponsored works teams compete in both classes. Since power is lower in GT300, modification costs are kept down, allowing many private teams an opportunity to participate. Both GT300 and GT500 classes require 2 drivers with mandatory driver changes during the race. In both classes, electronic chassis control systems such as active suspension are not allowed. Neither carbon brakes nor ABS are permitted. The unibody structure must remain the same as the production model. With a roll bar and so many other things going on inside the cockpit, it can get pretty cramped in there. The steering wheel and system must be connected by mechanical means. No electronic assisting allowed here. Many manufacturers use the JGTC as a testing ground for R&D. Data gained in races ultimately finds its way back to the product. The monstrous GT500 machines can be called the fastest GT cars in the world. Aerodynamic parts such as this carbon rear wing are tested on the track and fed back to R&D departments to produce the aftermarket parts we see later on the streets. Radical tuning is permitted, but the dimension and shape of the car's body must remain true to the production model. While the overall shape of the car must remain the same, the windows, for example, are changed to polycarbonate. Special slits are placed so air inside the cockpit can flow out. Small parts like mirrors can be replaced with lighter carbon versions with optimum aerodynamics. Fenders may be extended 5 centimeters over the width of the production specs. The front bumper can be redesigned to vent air to critical racing parts like intercoolers, radiators, brakes, and the engine block. Engines from other models may be installed if they come from homologated or registered vehicles from the same maker. Electronic systems like ABS and traction control are not allowed. The opening of the fender allows hot air out of the wheelhouse. On this car, the exhaust is placed close to the engine, helping release air more efficiently. It also helps keep the cockpit cooler, routing exhaust into the atmosphere before reaching the driver. Buttons that are not used frequently are placed on the panel near the stalk and knob for the sequential transmission. Many of these state-of-the-art enhancements end up on production cars all over Japan and the rest of the world. The mechanical steering wheel uses a carbon panel for locating meters. These pedals are completely different from production models that focus on daily usability. A CCD camera is placed to see other cars coming from behind.
GTR から Z に変わったっていうことで、一番変わったのは何かっていうと外観、外観が変わったっていうことで何が変えられるかっていうとやはり空力、これが一番大きいのかなと思いますね。で、車単体としては当然低重心化っていうベースでいつも考えていること、あとは去年一昨年からやってますけどもエンジン、これが結構性能が煮詰まってきたっていうことが、今年かなり速さにつながってるんじゃないかなというふうに思います。
Z の長所また、デメリット。
そうですね、他社と比べてっていうことですと、スープラさんと比べると一番大きいのはエンジン、向こうは NA でうちがターボっていうところで、いわゆるピックアップの部分、ここにやっぱり差は出てるのかなと思いますね。ちょっとここでは負けてるのかなと。ただ空力という部分では少し勝ててる気がしてて、コーナーリングスピードなんかは結構上でいけてるのかなと、思ってますけど。
NSX？
そうですね、 NSX さん今年からターボになったっていうところもあって、今のところあまりね速さっていうのは見れてないんですけどね、ここ2戦ぐらいかなりストレートスピードも上がってきて、同じターボっていうことで、エンジン良くなればやばいなっていう気がしてますし、ミッドシップカーという部分ではコーナーリングに関してはうちと引け目ないと思うんでね、この先残り3戦は心配かなって感じですね。
市販車の部分が残ってるところってあるんですか？
どこでしょうね。レギュレーションでいろいろ変わっちゃってますけど、見た感じっていうのはね、おそらくアメリカでは Z かなり売れてますんでね、人気があるんで、それにそぐわない形じゃないかなと思うんですけどね。特にどこが違うの違わないのって言われると全部違うんでごめんなさいって言うしかないと思うんですけどね。
ルーフの部分っていうのは
それはもう当然一緒です。当然で、あとはフードの形、穴開いてますけどね、フードの形状なんか一緒になってますし、当然ドアも一緒ですし、で上屋っていう意味ではバックドア、ここも変えれませんから、ガラスがカーボンになってしまってますけども、形は一緒です。オールスター、12月のオールスターになるんですけれども、その時は、ハンディウェイト、これが下ろせますんで、おそらく第一線で見せられたような鋭い突っ込み、それとすごい速いコーナーリングスピード、そこが見せられるんじゃないかなというふうに思いますけど、初めてアメリカに行くことになりますけれども、アメリカで Z もたくさん売れてます。多分日本より売れてると思うんですけども、そこの場でね、ぜひともポールトゥーウィンと行きたいなと思いますんで、応援の方よろしくお願いします。
Yes, well, we started in motor racing in 1957, which is a very long time ago. My first race was with the Maserati 250F, Brazilian Grand Prix 1957. We were fourth. Fangio won, we were fourth. And then I was very young at the time and got involved with it professionally in 1960. And from 1960 to now, Formula Ford, Formula 3, Formula 2, Formula 1, kart racing, Le Mans, GTs, Paris-Dakar. I mean, we cover just about everything. Ice racing, truck racing, whatever.
What brought you to Japan?
I was involved with Nissan in Europe, running the BTCC Super Touring program. And we came over for the Intertech race in '96. And then I also got involved working with the GT car over here, just coming to Japan for the races. So I was doing about 27 trips a year to Japan. Return trips, yeah. And now I'm here permanently since 2.5 years now.
Are GT cars really the fastest GT cars in the world? GTs cars?
Yes, you have to look at these cars as really, they're like prototypes, yes. FIA GT is more or less a production car. DTM is a little bit freer, but we have here, I think, the ultimate GT car. It's the first one I started with, it's a Maserati 250F. It's very old, very ancient, but it is a very pretty car. And the ultimate closed wheel car really is a Ferrari P4. It's a really beautiful piece of sculpture. I think it's a new step forward in Nissan. We used to have the big sort of Mad Max type Skyline. This is a much more refined, much prettier car, and I think the results shown this year, it's going to have a thing as a good run as a Skyline. Yeah. It is. I think it's a car for today. You know.
Do you like the what points of it do you like?
Styling, performance. Let's put it this way: I bought a Z myself. Yes, as soon as I saw one. So we started the championship quite well. The car. We were racing the Skyline last year, but it was the Skyline with the VQ engine and a new layout. It started performing very well, and we were so successful we started carrying a lot of weight, which involves a lot of tactical playing, because you have to sort of offset the weight you're carrying and choose the right races to win and the right races to lose weight on. I think we have a choice of about 4 drivers, and I say it's an embarrassing question because we got too many drivers to choose between ourselves. But I say Nihongo drivers, we can say I think Wakisaka and Motoyama. We got a lot of promise of our young drivers, but I think on our side really it's Satoshi. Gaijin drivers, I better not get involved in this because I work with a lot of them, and whatever I say is going to be wrong.
Lastly, do you have any message for the U.S. fans today? Americans love the GTR. They love to see.
Come and watch this race. It is a very, very close racing. I think people will be surprised about how good the racing is in JGTC. I've done a lot of racing all over the world, and I don't think you'll see anything as close as this. Yeah.
そうですね、まずエンジンが自然吸気 3.5 リッターから、ツインターボ3リッターに、エンジンが変わりました。でそれに合わせて車体の方の、エンジンに合わせた設計変更、あとは車体は通常進化させる、そういう性能向上分っていうのもありますけど、一番大きく変わったのはエンジンですね。
自慢できるところありますか？
そうですね、まずベース車両が、エンジンがミッドシップっていうことと、市販車の状態からNSX はスポーツカーとして設計されてますんで、そういう素材的にいいものをまず使ってるっていうことですね。あとはそれに加えてうちのドームの方は空力開発の方、自社風洞も持っておりまして、そちらが、一番、他のメーカーさんに比べてアピールできるポイントかなと。この車もう、97年から、基本はやってますけど、もう年々どんどん煮詰めていって、常にその時点での最高の性能を出せるように、だから空力も毎年、向上してますんで、もともとの、車のレイアウトの有利さプラス、うちの会社としてのその空力の開発のアドバンテージっていうその2つですかね。
あそこのチームだけには負けたくねえなっていうところはありますか？
もう他のチーム全部ですね。もう行くからにはぜひ勝ちたいですけどホンダはいつもレースの世界で常にナンバーワンを取ってます。この GT でもナンバーワンを取りますんで応援してください。
このエンジンは、何に使われてるっていうか、どういうエンジンなんですか？
そうです。 レギュレーションで市販車のエンジンを使わなければいけないっていうのがありますんで、トヨタの市販車のエンジンをもちろん使ってるんですけども、ソアラですとかセルシオに使われている V8 のエンジンですね。他の日産、ホンダっていうのはターボのエンジンを使ってますけれども、トヨタだけが大排気量の NA のエンジンを使ってるんで、そのあたりに優位性を見出したっていうことなんだと思うんですけれども、
ここがすごいんだぞっていうちょっとエンジニアが自慢できるような部分ってありますか？
そうですね、パッと見た目で、すごい市販車とは形面影は残ってますけども違うと思うんですけども、これは全て空力っていうところを優先して考えられてますんで、空力の面ではこれはやっぱり非常に優れてるかなと思います。
なんかこんなのついてるのみたいなのあります？
ただやっぱりレース中の走り方でも燃費重視であったり、前の車を追いかけてあったりっていう状況が異なる場合がありますんで、その時にエンジン側のマップを切り替えて、燃費重視パワー重視っていうことはできるようになってます。頑張りますので、S 号を応援してください。お願いします。
Bye.